Sriraam Rathi joins us now, India analyst and represents the pharma and the healthcare vertical for PNB. You've got Cyndrella, she's the lead pharma analyst with GM Financial Securities. So let's take that conversation forward. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining us. I'll start with the lady first. Cyndrella, if one looks at the comeback in pharma, do you think this is backed by evidence that pricing, US FDA audits and the demand has bottomed out, or this is just a dead cat bounce? It is pure sectoral rotation, nothing else, nothing more.
To our understanding, we believe that the sector has experienced a COVID reset, basically. So we have seen the reset of COVID coming back. Now it is behind us. The entire earnings trajectory that we had seen going northwards in FY22, now we have a new base in FY23. So from here onwards, the valuations will move to FY25, and that gives us an opportunity to look at this sector. From a US FDA perspective and US business perspective, we believe that generic Revlimid will help most of the companies to give us sustained earnings for another 2 years or so. And with that, what happens is the pricing pressure on an overall basis looks stable to minor, given that we have a support from a larger product. And when we look at the domestic market also, we see at least 11-12% FY24 domestic market growth, which kind of gives us a lot of comfort on the overall earnings trajectory going ahead.
Right. Sriraam, if I could just get you in on the discussion as well, and, wanted to understand, given the fact that Nifty Pharma has underperformed Nifty 50 since 2015, barring the calendar year 2020 when you had that, marked outperformance, now things are turning sort of for the better. Do you see possibilities of a re-rating for the sector at large?
Yeah, as you rightly mentioned, Nifty Pharma has been underperforming Nifty P. The premium used to be around 30% odd for Nifty Pharma over the Nifty P, and that has gone down to almost 15 to 20%. Now we are seeing some kind of reset happening on that front. So our expectation is that the outlook is definitely positive for the sector, and we are expecting double-digit earnings growth over the next couple of years. That should help in maintaining the valuations, and there will be some pockets in terms of companies who will be doing much better, and that's why we are positive on select stocks. So definitely we are positive on the sector.
Right. Cyndrella, just looking at the margin squeeze that has been felt within the sector in the last 2 years because of pricing pressure in the US generics on one end, and of course input cost inflation as well on the other one. Do you think this year that could get reversed by any chance?
Yeah, so probably the entire raw material inflation with the crude prices also coming off, we feel that it is in favor of the sector. We believe that over the FY24, we should at least see across sector, we should at least see 1.5% of margin revival coming at the gross, and the logistical cost and all at the EBITDA level also supporting us. So we do expect a revival on the overall margin aspect, largely from a raw material inflation softening as well as logistical cost softening. We do expect a margin better than previous years for sure.
Right. Sriraam, do you believe that domestic sales will continue to grow in a better way compared to the US markets here for India?
Yes, definitely. India domestic market is more of a structural growth story for us. And we expect that over the medium term, the growth will remain in double digits, somewhere in the range of 10 to 11%. While US has been deflationary in nature, and it's more of a tactical play. So after every 2-3 years of price erosion, generally we see some kind of sanity coming back in terms of price erosion. So that is a time when the US generic focused companies do well. But India is more of a structural growth story, and that will remain. And that's why the valuations are at much premium for Indian companies compared to the generic companies.
Right. The other thing, Sriraam, there are reports of drug shortages in the US as well. The March numbers were, I think, at 301, which is the highest since 2014. And we've seen a negative correlation of drug shortages with price deflation as well. How long do you see this situation continue in the US? And this time around, are there different factors impacting it all?
Yeah, so what has happened, post-COVID, suddenly we saw significant spike in terms of US safety inspections, and there have been certain adverse reactions also because of that. So, for example, Sun Pharma's Halol facility got import alert, then there have been certain other instances, so which has led to some kind of shortage, and the companies who have clear FDA status should basically will stand to benefit because of that. So this time, nothing specific as such. I mean, we have seen at times the shortage list goes up significantly, and then gradually we see that the competitive intensity in those products increases and the shortage list goes down. So right now, definitely it is on the higher side. That's why we are seeing some kind of traction in the US focused companies. But I mean, it's not a structural thing. I mean, probably in few quarters we will again see some kind of sanity coming back.
Right. Cinderella, the focus of select companies recently has been to enlarge their specialty drug portfolio. For example, a Sun Pharma. How big an opportunity do they offer for growth?
So it's a new engine of growth for the company. Sun being the only person today present in the specialty side with Illumia, Sequa, and other products like Winlevi. So this is a new leg of growth, and it has an immense potential. But we being the generic pharma company, this is a new segment for most of the other companies. Plus, this needs a huge amount of investment also in the US market to be successful, because you will be competing with the innovative companies in the US. Hence, we believe that this area segment needs higher investment, longer gestation period, but it's a long and a sticky business, which definitely Sun Pharma's earnings will benefit over coming 2 years, 3 years, and henceforth. And that's we see and we prefer. One of our topic is Sun Pharma from our coverage perspective, and the specialty is the major reason for this kind of growth.
Right. Cyndrella, have to ask you about Mankind Pharma, the latest IPO offering, whether it's a subscribe.
So we have not given our official view on that as such, but of course we attended the analyst meet yesterday, and I think it's one of the largest, fourth largest company in India, which is coming out for an IPO. And in terms of overall CAGR growth, I think there is a significant growth opportunity that the numbers have shown over last 5 years. And we look forward to the listing as we go ahead. And it's a kind of acute and a consumer health, and they want to grow with a large focus from a chronic segment as well as consumer health business, is what we understood from the management yesterday. And that's how we look forward to this IPO, as it will be one of the largest company IPO in a while in pharma space.
Yeah. Sriram, I'm sure you've looked at the DRHP for Mankind.
Yeah, we have looked at that, but of course we have not covered it in any of the reports. But I mean, the only thing is that, as I said, that India is more of a structural growth story from the long-term perspective, and there is a lot of appetite in the investor community for the India stories, India-focused stories. And Mankind has around 97 to 98% revenue coming from India. For the industry, our expectation is that it will grow at around 10 to 11%, and there will be certain companies will be growing faster than that also, depending on the portfolio. Definitely interesting company to watch out, but can't comment right now. Okay.
Cyndrella, morning now, like the pre-COVID time, there was also a time when every other day we used to hear about plant inspections, ANDAs and more. But do you think that now on that front, the news flow has dried a little bit, because data does suggest that there has been a sharp surge in ANDA withdrawals? So what's the outlook like for 2023 with respect to ANDAs and withdrawals?
So I'll try and take it in a different way, because what happened is during the COVID phase, most of the US FDA inspections were not conducted because of the travel and other restrictions. So we saw resurgence of all these inspections happening starting last year mid, and they are continuing in the similar space. And in fact, we are seeing increased ANDA approvals. We've highlighted that in our recent report as well. So we are seeing that as these facilities get clearance, we will see more and more approvals coming in for most of our Indian generic players. And in fact, we expect a patent cliff to start soon, which will also start somewhere FY24. So we look forward to more clearance coming up and more compliant facilities. We are the leader in terms of domestic compliance. If we look at the US FDA supplies, we have the highest number of plants in India which are US FDA approved, and hence, and we are known as global pharmacy as well, with the kind of supplies that we do to US and other regulated markets. So we do expect approval cycle also to pick up, as well as we have seen inspection cycle also at a higher trajectory because of post-pandemic impacts.
Right, and wanted to get in a take from you, Sriram. Within the pharma conglomerates, which one do you believe is going to benefit the most given the kind of tailwinds at play for the sector?
Yes, so our topics in the sector are Sun Pharma mainly because of their specialty pipeline and strong India exposure, followed by JB Chemicals in the mid-cap space. Again, India story mainly. And in terms of US focused companies, we like companies such as Aurobindo Pharma and Dr. Reddy's because whatever tailwind comes out there, they should benefit the most.
All right, Sriram, Cyndrella, thank you so much for taking time out and joining in, giving us a take on the pharma sector as a whole, what some of the key tailwinds, headwinds are, and what the roadmap is going ahead.